So thank you everybody for joining us today. We're going to be making a hummingbird, and I made it in white, the big 8.5 by 8.5 piece of paper white, and then I used a little bit smaller paper and I made one in purple. And then we're going to need today a pencil for one of the folds towards the end. Okay. So if you have a piece of paper that's colored on one side and white on the other, what I want you to do is put the colored side face down, and what we're going to do first is we're going to make a horizontal fold. So we're going to put this edge up to its opposite edge. So we're basically folding the paper in half. And one little thing I like to do is to put my finger in the middle there, just bring it down, and then push it all the way to the edges to make sure I get a nice fold. And again, for those of you who haven't joined us before, or not very often, really the folds don't have to be exact, like, you know, obviously we're cutting our own paper, but the creases are really important because we use that as a basis for what we do next. So just crease that. I use the back of my nail, and I usually have my nails cut short. You could just use your finger, whichever is comfortable. So now we're going to open that up again, and we're going to do a fold that's perpendicular. So we're going to move that 90-degree angle, and then put the bottom edge up to the top edge. And again, we'll put our finger down the middle so we make sure we're getting a nice lined up fold, and then push out from the right and the left till we get to the edges, and then just make that fold again. Crease that really well. So now we're going to open that up, and we're going to turn the paper over so the colored side, if you have a colored side, is up. And the next thing we're going to do is a diagonal fold. So we're going to take the bottom corner and put it up to where the top corner is. And again, just line it up as best as you can. The main thing is you've got really good creases. So just pull your finger down from the center and then go to the right and the left side. So crease that really well. And then we're going to open that up again. And we're going to do a diagonal fold that's perpendicular to the one you just did. So we're going to put this tip, the bottom tip, up to the top tip. Pull down from the center and then crease out on either side. Now you'll notice that, see, my paper isn't cut precisely. You can see it didn't line up perfectly. So I didn't get a perfect 8.5 by 8.5, but that's okay. We'll just crease that. And then open it up again. Now, if you remember from our balloon box last time we had an origami class, we're going to do that little kind of pyramid fold. So we're going to stick our finger underneath and pop our middle finger to the middle of the folds, and you kind of already have like this three-dimensional structure here. And what you're going to do is just squish in either side to fold it down and make a square. or a diamond, depending on how you're holding it. So if you're holding it this way, it's a square. If you're holding it this way, it's a diamond. So I'll do that one more time just to make sure everyone got that. So we're sticking our hand underneath to pop up the center over here. And then we're just basically just naturally pushing in the sides. And then laying it down so we've got that diamond. Now, you might notice that things aren't completely lined up perfectly. So what we'll do is just put our finger at the tip, the closed end, and just put our finger down the center. Hold our hands in the center and then crease over to the left and right over here. So we can make this nice diamond nice and flat. So now we have the top of this is where all the points are secured at the top, and then bottom is the nice flappy part. So what we want to do now is we want to take this edge and line it up with the center line. Okay? So let's start. So this edge with this center line. And again, things don't have to be perfect. The main thing is that you've got a nice crease. So try to get a good point at the tip here, if you can. Just crease. Then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to be putting this edge to the center line. So similar, basically exactly the same, but on the opposite side. And crease that really well. And then we're going to just flip this over and do the same on the other side. So again, this edge is going to line up with the center crease that we already have. And you can also notice you can line it up with the fold you already did behind it. And try to get the point looking good, but again, it's not too vital. And just make sure you've got that crease nice and secure. Same thing on the other side. We're putting this edge to the center. And crease really well. Now, something you might remember if you've done previous origami classes with us is this fold that's a little bit tricky, but if you have, just go over your creases again, like flip it over, make your creases again so they're nice and secure, because the better your creases are, the more likely this will be easier for you. So what we're going to do is open this up. And we're going to lift up this piece of paper, and we're going to use those creases we just made to fold this in. Doesn't necessarily work super easily, so you can just gently pat this down so you get a nice tip here at the end. And gently pat this down over here. Work on one side first, and then you can work on the other side. So this one will fold pretty easily. You might need to stick your finger in there to get this corner to work, and then even in here to get this to fold down properly. And essentially now we've got a thinner diamond, so we can crease this on both sides. And then we're going to do that on the other side. Okay, so we did this on one side, so we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we're opening up the little flaps. We're going to put our thumbs underneath the flap we lift up. And again, the bottom part should be folding in pretty easily. And then if you have any problems, like here it's not folding in too well, just help it along and just tap with your 2 fingers to get it creased up at the top there. And then on the other side, same thing, just tap to get the crease on the other side, and then we can just crease both sides. So let's crease both sides on the top, on the bottom, and then turn it over, get some more creases, get those creases nice and sturdy again, just to make sure everything's okay. Okay, so now we're just going to take on either side, it doesn't matter which one you do, we're going to take this one and put it down. So now we see this triangle at the top. And then what we're going to do is just fold in half where the triangle is. Just and then again, let's just crease that. So this is essentially the body of the hummingbird. So next thing we're going to do is make the head of the hummingbird. So what you want to go to is the place we're making the head is where there's only one, I'll show you, one layer of folds. So not the bottom where there's all kinds of thickness down here. This is going to be the head again. We made the fold. And this is its little kind of breast, or the chest of the bird. And then we're opening it up here and bending it in. So you've got a little head there. So just one more time. This is its chest, this is its head. And make that little fold to the right. Open it up. Stick your thumb inside here, and then bend it in where you just made that fold, so you have the head. Okay, now the next thing is you're going to open up the head. And let me try to zoom in a little bit more so you get closer. Alright, got to zoom in. So now we've got this head. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make some little folds, which are hard even if you have small fingers. We're essentially going to be taking this edge and putting it to the center here. So I'll show you first. Okay, so it's similar to the fold we've done before, but it's just a smaller section. So we're taking this edge and putting it to the center line. And then you just want to do the same thing on the other side. We're taking this edge and putting it to the center line. It's harder to manipulate the paper when it's smaller like that. And then you just want to crease it really, really well. The next thing we're going to do is take our pencil, and I'll bring this up even closer to the camera. Let's see, well, it's not very focused. Okay. You're going to see there's this little fold here that we just made with our 2 folds. what you want to do is stick your pencil in here and do a squash. Let me try moving this. So we're sticking the pencil in that little hole and just squashing. So let's bring that up closer. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're sticking the pencil in that other little fold and just opening it up and then squashing it. So it's basically kind of like little eyes, creating little eyes for the hummingbird. And then after you do that, we're just folding it on itself. And just pressing down on the head and the beak. So now our head is complete. So the last thing we have to do is just get the wings looking like this one. So again, this is not precise exactly where you want to put the wings, but just go down here and take the first layer of floppy parts and put the wing up like that. Make a crease. Flip it over and do the same thing on the other side, just the top flap. And you can line it up with what you did before over here. And then just crease that. And then you can see you got the hummingbird. So like, if you can look at it this way, if you look at it, you know, facing the beak, then it kind of looks like it has little eye sockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.